Teresa, can we start off like when did you first stumble upon these books, and what went through your mind when you first read them? Did you know them before this role?
I actually didn't. I was just laughing about the fact that I have 3 sons, and so I haven't read since they were born. I haven't read anything since they were born, so I think they came out right as I was having children. So I wasn't familiar with the books, but I read the script and instantly I became obsessed with it. I couldn't stop reading it. I rang my agent and I said, what is going on with this? How can I get involved? He set me up with Jane Trantor. And Jane was just this brilliant woman who spoke so passionately about the world. She knew the characters back to front, inside out, and she really set it up for me. And I left that meeting just feeling like she was my character. I had to be Diana. I felt so connected to her in every way. And so I met with Matthew Good, who was already cast, and we were going to do like an hour and a half workshop, a chemistry read, just to make sure that we got on and we had some chemistry, because obviously that's a pivotal part of our story. We wanted to make sure that we fit together. And straight away we were laughing, straight off the bat. We were just such goofballs together. We're like brother and sister, really interacting in a way that felt organic and fluid, and we just put the scenes down. And I remember Kate, our casting director's like, guys, we actually have to get some work done. I know you guys are having fun talking with each other, but we do have to film some of the scenes. So from day one, it was like that between Matthew and I, and we're both so thrilled to be a part of the show. Yeah, and then I read the books after that point. Yes, which was brilliant. And actually, it was an audio book that I listened to, because again, the reading for me, I'm constantly being interrupted by little people, but in the car they're strapped in and they can't interrupt me, and I have my audio book on, so that's how I read the books.
So you say you connected with Diana really quickly. What qualities did that, made you connect with her?
I just loved her passion. I loved her commitment. I thought she was this beautiful flower where she's a hyper-intellectual woman, yet she was denying this whole other side of her life and her being. And I loved the vulnerability in that, and the fragility in that, and I just felt such potential, that she had so much potential, and she just had to lean into it. And the further along I got into the book, I just became so proud of her and how she started to unravel, and she blossoms into her authentic self. And I can really relate to that journey. I think even any of us, from the ages, when we're teenagers to when we enter into our later 20s and 30s, gosh, we're all over the place when we're younger, and then you finally land into a space in your life where you're feeling good about yourself and you're leaning into who you are. And I felt like she took that journey in that first book, and I loved it. It was a beautiful story.
If I could piggyback off that question, you mentioned this already, that part of what drew you to the character of Diana is this sort of innate tension within herself between, the academic, the scientist, the historian versus the supernatural being. So how would you say that tension sort of manifests in your portrayal of the character?
It's quite interesting, because she'll be in the middle of doing a lecture or just about to go and have a lecture, but magic pops out in a crazy way. And I think that's, this swinging pendulum. She's trying to keep this at bay, but it is who she is, and it keeps coming out, and then it starts escalating. It's coming out more and more and more, and she doesn't have such a tight grip on it anymore, and I love that, because it's just organic. It's bound to happen, and I think you see that journey.
Yeah, and then we get into the spoiler territory very quickly.
Yeah, I know. He's like, don't say so.
No, but it is such a difficult one to talk about, because it's amazing. I'm waiting to see it. I think, there's so much more to come, and also the Sarah and M's involvement in it as well. Once you get to sort of 5, 6, 7, 8, it's deep.
Yeah.
Can you talk about, you saw some of the scenes in the panel, but talk about filming some of the magical stuff, what you can say, but how is it?
I probably already blew it on that table. She does this. She was like, wait.
No, it's, the reason I mention it is just because obviously we want to keep certain things back for the fans.
Sure. But can you?
But of course we can. But they don't come out in the first. There's small moments in the first episode, but then by the end of the third episode,
it takes it to another level, which is the most powerful witch there is. And I think my idea of witchcraft is it's smaller than what she can do. It's like you do some spells and that's it. Like I grew up watching The Craft, but this is just takes it to a whole other level. Her power is so immense. It really is otherworldly, and I won't spoil it anymore. But you just wait till like from episode 6 onwards, you start to see things that will absolutely blow your mind. You've all probably read the book, so you know what I'm talking about.
But what I find particularly exciting about the way that magic manifests itself is also Matthew's relationship to the magic, because he's aware, because he's been around for so many hundreds and hundreds of years, he understands magic, and he knows how rare it is to find a witch that has the powers that Diana has.
I think he's quite shocked as well at the level of power that she has. It's so exciting for him and enticing, but wow, it's I think it's also hard for him to see that too, in a sense.
If we see her with all these extreme powers and she's suppressing it, will we see these powers possibly grow as she starts to embrace it more?
Yeah. Yes. A tight nod.
Okay.
Can you talk about how they're shot? Like, is it practical stuff, or is it a lot of imagining for you? Is that
I mean, principally, especially early on, we use a lot of practical elements. So, for example, one of the sequences involved wire rigs, because there's nothing better than actually having your character fly through the frame without it feeling created in VFX. So obviously we do use VFX, but it's more to supplement what's actually there.
Yeah. I got to be on some wires. It's not spoiling anything. I was on some wires towards the end, and it's fun. I had a day of being upside down on a wire in the woods. Oh, that was so fun, actually. Yeah, the woods was great. I was upside down. My very last scene of the entire show was a blue screen, and I was upside down on a wire, hanging, making noises for 8 hours. Yeah.
With the jet engine in your face.
Yeah, oh man, that's right. Yeah, with the huge industrial fan like blowing at me.
So do you have any funny moments on set?
Yes. Matthew's just he's such a goofball. Yeah, him and I. There's a scene in the show. I won't say what scene it is, but Matthew and I have really funny banter together. So we're constantly laughing and mucking around and goofballing around. I don't know if you were there that day when we were in the forest. We had the scene where we were talking about my father's ability. So we couldn't stop laughing, and for about an hour and a half we kept trying to film the scene, but we just were laughing the whole way through the scene, to the point where the director was like, well, I think we're just going to have to make this scene a funny scene because we just couldn't play it straight, and that was our kind of relationship. So, and that happened many times. There's a moment in this book, I'll show you the image that we're talking about. He asked me to describe the book, and I talked to him about, that I saw a picture of the alchemical child floating upside down in a vessel, and for some reason Matthew thought that line was the funniest line he'd ever heard. That on his close-up he would ask me not to say the line, so he was like, I will just react, you don't say the line, and vice versa. He would have to turn around and I'd have to do it to his back because we were making each other laugh so much. So it just, we really had a fantastic time. It was a lot of laughing went on.
I think it's just a great sort of camaraderie with the team that were making the show, and I think it's a sort of testament to especially our cast and crew, because there was just that bond there, and I think when people work together and invest in what they're doing and enjoy what they're doing, it just makes it an amazing experience. I think it shows on the screen.
Can you talk about the tone? What tone are you hoping for with the show?
Well, it was it's a really interesting question, because the tone, we've gone on a journey with the tone, because at the beginning, because we wanted to set the show up in a way that felt grounded and really rooted in present day and in a world where humans exist alongside creatures. So we went on a journey in the early episodes to not have a lot of magic, but obviously as we get later on in the series, we're flying.
Takes off. We're flying.
It does.
But it's all the elements that you get. It's a romance.
It's a contemporary. At the end of the day, one of the strong elements is it's a contemporary love story between Matthew and Diana. So I think you can't escape from that. But there's also a strong thriller element with the manuscript, because everyone believes that the answers are held within the book. And as Owen, who plays Peter Knox, was saying, he's got this vision that if he can find the book, he'll find out how vampires were created, and if he knows how they were created, then he can uncreate them. Because
Which I don't want any part of.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Great scene.
Yeah, that's
What's it like working on a show, and obviously it's yet to air, so you haven't quite seen the reaction yet, but where it has such a devoted fan base of people who are just very passionate about it?
We want to serve the audience ultimately, and we're not making a show for ourselves. And that's why we work very closely with Deb, because that transition from the page to the screen is such a long journey that you go on, and what works on the page, because you've got the benefit of first-person narration, it means that you're able to describe a world, whereas you can't do that on television. So with some of the aspects of the show, we've maybe gone a little bit further into the book and pulled some story from later in the book towards the beginning. We set the world and we set the characters, and it just felt like the right way to approach it.
I also have found it just thrilling to have this kind of energy behind the series. I remember when I got cast, I looked at my Instagram and it had jumped up 100,000 people, and I was like, what? And then I started seeing All Souls, and then Demon's Domain, and then I started interacting with a lot of the people behind these accounts, and just the support has been phenomenal. The excitement is just of another level, and it just helps me want to be the best I possibly can be and tell the most authentic story, and I think we all really appreciate the support of the fans, and you can feel it. I feel it. I remember being on set, and the comments on my Instagram and my interactions, it makes you feel good, and it makes you want to do your very best work. And I today meeting everyone here, it's been wonderful. It makes me so excited to finally get the show out and get them to all the patiently waiting fans who have been so supportive. I know. Oh my god, I think that's probably the number one question I keep getting asked on my Instagram.
That was my number one question.
When will we see it in the US? Yeah.
Teresa, can you talk about your first meeting with the author as well? Did you have lots of questions for her? Were you anxious?
Yeah.
What was going through your mind, and what did you...
Well, she is the warmest person that I've ever met in my life. She's just one big ball of love, and she came and gave me this big bear hug. She was like, "You are my Diana." And I actually see a lot of Diana in Deb, actually, just the way she is in her being, and obviously Deb's an historian, and she's a rower, and they have a lot of similarities, and she had unwavering support and faith in me, and to come into a series with a lot of eyes on it, and have the author, the one who wrote these characters, be so loving and giving. It just made my job so much easier. And I had her on speed dial. I could call her at any time. She was also on set a lot. And I could say, how would I play this? Or what do you think her mindset is? Am I going down the right track? This is how I'm feeling. And she was just so generous and open and communicative, and the most beautiful blessing ever.
And there's another one.